All right, for this next part, I have a color tool that I like to use, and I just want to be able to point this out where to find it. So it's actually called Display Override, and it's a Python script by Chris Zerbrig. And if you go to his website here, zerbrig.com, you can actually pick up this display override Python script, which is great. It actually, you can override the colors for the shapes that we're going to use. So if you go to zerbrig.com and actually just look around on his website, he's got this display override Python script. So if you grab that and then just put that in your shelf, it should come up like this. So this display override. So the first thing I like to do is actually select like all the middle controls. So the hips, the root control, and then the spines, and then also the chest, the neck, and the head, and I'll turn those yellow. And so you just click the color that you want and hit override, and then you select on it and it becomes those colors, which is pretty cool. So I also like to go red on the right side, so I usually use red for right and then blue on the left hand side, which is just kind of standard, just to kind of keep track of our coloring. So with the right arms, so actually I'll go with the right clav, the right arm FK controller, the right elbow, and then we'll select the IK and the FK, and then also select the FK legs on the right hand side, and I'm just holding down my shift key and just selecting those. And so I'll pick this red color and just override that, and then I'll go move over to the left side and just hold down shift and pick these controllers on the left hand side, and we'll pick a blue color and override that. And so we get blue on the left hand side and red on the right. And let's see here. And then also for the fingers, we also want to change those colors as well. So I'll do that for the left side first, which is going to be blue. And override those. Those all turn blue. And these ones going to turn red. And I like to just manually select all these one by one, just so I know that I'm actually selecting them instead of just dragging over a whole, yeah, see, so I missed that one. So just want to make sure that, whoops, actually we want those to be red. So I'm going to just Control Z a couple times and then go to red, override, there we go. And then override this guy. There we go. All right, so with those display colors changed, actually we also want to add a few more objects. So I'm actually going to close this right now and also going to add two new controls here. So I'm just going to select both the right and the left ankle, and we'll go to, actually we want our comet menu again, so I'm going to have to go to my comet menu, and actually I'm just going to drag this up into my shelf so I can keep that in there all the time. And so save all shelves, and that's this little gear right here. You can just save all shelves. And so that'll give me my comment menu again. So with those two still selected, I can go Shapes, Circle Y, I believe. So I just want to make sure. Actually, I'm going to Control Z on that. And from here, I'm actually going to just create a new Circle Y, whoops, without those selected, and just create a Circle Y shape. Okay, and then I'm going to hit F8 and just scale this out. And what I'm visualizing is I'm doing this for the foot. Okay, so just kind of scaling this guy out. And here I'll just select those ones and scale those out, just kind of make more of a foot shape, and scale those kind of as well. And from here, if we go and go back to object mode, and then we'll take this and actually we're going to just hold down V and middle mouse to the ball joint. Okay, and then from here we can go to from here we want to, sorry about that, we can just hit F8 and then we'll grab these. Actually, what we want to do, I don't want to undo or redo that. So F8 out of that, and then I'm going to just place this kind of into place where I want this. And here I'm just going to F8 and scale all the way up. There we go. And F8 again. And then, so this we want to name left foot, foot control, underscore control. And this one I'm going to just duplicate. Yes, actually we'll just select that and duplicate. And this one we're going to basically just give this a -1 scale, or not a minus, actually, sorry. I want to -1 on the Z. -1 on the Y, actually. And then just move that over to the right. So this is just basically flipping that shape. So this just drives. There we go. Or we can also go with that. So you'll notice like in the X, so if we just put minus, this will put it right on the actual exact same spot as this one. And what we're going to do is zero these two out. So using our Comet zero out tool. So now with that control, actually I'm going to undo that and then actually just go to freeze transforms. So I have these actually in my have these quick shortcuts up in my shelf, but if you were to grab these and just use them, so if you go to modify freeze transformations, so in the option box you can actually just make sure that translate, rotate, scale is all checked and joint orient is turned off. So with those are actually zeroed out properly, which is how we want them. And so this guy we want to, actually I'm going to go back to my display color, and turn this one blue, and turn this one red. All right. Oops, this guy we want to be red. So red and override. There we go. All right, and just make sure that we have, actually I want this to be IK. And this one's going to be IK as well. We want this to be right foot IK underscore control. Alright, so we have IK controls, FK controls, we have IK on the hand and also FK on the hand. We want to actually make pull vector controls as well, so we can leave our display color up or you can collapse it, either way. And so from this one I'll grab the knees, the two knees, and then go to Comet, Shapes, and do Cubes. And I'll zero out my rotations. I don't really want any rotations on that. And then from here, if I actually drag these out to, I just want them out in front quite a ways, almost like the length of, I like to think usually like the length of the leg. So out in front of the toes for sure. So from here, you can actually grab these and just hit F8, and then I'll scale them so they're all still okay. And then the fronts, I'll grab from the fronts and actually do another scale as well. So I'll scale in X and Y like so. So different people like different shapes for different items. I just use these little cone things, just they kind of are easy to, I can see them and also see how they're kind of pointing at the knee. You can also flip them around if you like the smaller side looking at the actual knee for the pull vector. So I just clicked on my display color and I'm just changing these colors real quick. Alright, and then with these ones, we just want to name this left leg PV underscore control. So that's left leg pull vector underscore control. And then this one, actually we can just double click this, copy, come to this one, double click, paste, and just change this side to right. You can use also the rename tool as well, which can be helpful. Just sometimes I'm just grabbing and just going in the attribute. You can also change it here as well. Just there's so many different places to do things inside Maya, which is pretty great. So I'm actually just grabbing the elbows and going to Comet, Shapes, Cube, and these guys I will probably keep those. Actually, I'll zero out those rotations actually, and then just bring those out. And I want these guys to be about the same distance. So if I'm going to look from the right, if you measure these, well, it looks about, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. If you really want to get particular about it, you can measure with the measure tool, or actually just add it into the attribute editor. And so here, I'm going to scale these guys up. So selection, and then I hit R and just scale those up. And then for these ones, I'll go to the back side and scale in Y and X. And we'll call those good. And right here I'm going to just change color again. So change this to blue, override, and go to red and override. And close that. And then here I'll name this left arm PV underscore control. And just double click, copy, and come here, double click, Control V for paste. Whoops. So I'm just and change this to right. All right, looks like we've got a majority of our controls all set up here. I do like to also place just kind of a shape behind the foot or on the foot. This is just to do our IK, FK switching. So basically turning on FK and IK. And so I usually like to add like a little circle, or so I'll put these on the hands and say Comet, and I'll probably just use another, let's see here, probably just use a square and just change the rotations to 0 on those and just bring those back. Or actually, you know what? I think this time around I'm actually going to put them on the root control. So the IK, FK switching will be on the root. That will work, I think. So we'll just delete those shapes. And so we'll put the arm and leg FK on the root. And then also I like to add a new shape, circle Y, and then F8, and then hit R. Whoops, I want this to be not just one, so I want this to be, there we go. So this is basically going to be the world controller, and I'll also deselect, go F8, and so we'll name this world underscore control, and then I'm going to actually duplicate this guy, F8, select that, and scale down just a touch, and F8 out of that. So this one I'm going to name feet IK FK switch. So foot IK FK underscore switch. All right. So let's see, I'm actually going to get rid of all of this because I'm not going to need that. So if you just select the object and then select all our translates, rotates, and scale, if you right click, you can say lock and hide selected. So that just basically, so now all we have on there is visibility, which is totally what we want. World control, we're going to leave how we have that currently. Actually, I probably will hide the scale. We can always get it back. It's basically just so we don't scale on that node currently. So I'm just making sure that all of our control objects are in here and how we want them. Okay, so I am seeing that my hands, or my, alright, so my pointers, I'm just making sure, okay, so actually we want to get these to follow. So we want 3 to follow 2, so parent, 2 to follow 1, parent. And then we have our middles, so it doesn't look like we did the right hand. So I just want to go through here. This is just kind of clean up, so I'm just grabbing all this, parenting these so they work properly. And so pointers, right pointer, we want 3 to go to 2 and parent, 2 to go to 1, parent. And then with the thumb, I want 3 to go to 2, parent, 2 to go to 1, parent. Okay, those all look good. So left hand, left middle, left pointer, left thumb. And where is our pinky? Our pinky. Okay, and then this guy, looks like we're already, so this is left hand FK, so we want this guy to follow this one. So actually I'm just opening this up. So with this one I want to follow the FK elbow. So now when we rotate this, we get all those rotations working right. And then we want this FK. So just grabbing this top and selecting this one and just parenting that. So now when we select this guy, our FK looks like it's right. Okay. All that looks right. All right. So if I hit 5, so I can see the mesh, 6 for texture view. Okay, and now, so what I want to do is add the actual IK objects to my legs and my arms. And so to do that, what we'll do is go to our FK arm, or our IK arms first. Pardon me, the IK and FK. So we're going to grab the IK arms. And so to get to those fairly quickly, if we go to root, and I'm just going to open that all the way up, okay, and then go to, actually let's, yeah, so since I said we're going to do arms first, we'll do arms. So left arm, IK, all the way down to the hand, and then I'm just going to go hit Control 1, which will isolate that, okay? So with that isolated, now we can just add our IK to this, to these joints, to the IK arm. And so we'll want to go to the rigging section, and we'll say skeleton, create IK handle, and we want to make sure that our IK handle, under our option box, we're going to use the rotate plane solver. Okay, and then we'll say snap enabled, and I usually will leave sticky turned off for now. So with this, we'll just grab that and go from the top, so left arm IK down to the arm. Okay, so now when we select that IK handle, you can see we get that bend on the arm. Okay, and then so from here we'll name this, I like to name my IK items what they are. So left arm IK. Okay, and then if you actually hit Control 1 again, it'll bring everything back, which is what we're after. Okay, so with that, with that out in the open now, we can actually select. Well, actually, one other thing, we'll do that. Getting ahead of myself. Sorry about that. So with these other ones, we'll go to our right arm IK. So we'll select those three and hit Control 1 to isolate, and then go to create IK handle again and go from the top to the bottom. And with that, we will rename this to right arm IK and hit Control 1. Bring this back there. And I usually like to just grab that and just see what we're getting out of there. Just totally what we're looking for. All right, and from here we will go to our leg IK. So we want to scroll up here into our joints, and under left leg IK, we'll select all those IK joints and hit Control 1, and that'll bring up our left leg. Okay, and then so for this IK, if we hit Y, that goes to our last tool that we used. So we'll actually collapse this or close this tab. We don't need that. And so from here, what we want to do, we want to go from the foot to the ankle. So we'll go, or not the foot, the actual leg to the ankle. Okay, and then we want to hit G, which is going to put us back in IK mode again. So we want to go from the ankle to the ball, and then we want to go hit G again and go from the ball to the toe. Okay, so with those three, we just make sure that we name this left leg IK. This one is going to be left ball IK, and this one will be left toe IK.